Please. I'm Charlotte Mitchell, Chair of the Utilities Commission, and with me this morning are Commissioners Duffley, Hughes, McKissick, Kimwright, Brawley, and Tucker. In compliance with State Government Ethics Act, I remind members of the Commission of our duty to avoid conflicts of interest and inquire at this time as to whether any member of the Commission has a known conflict with respect to the matters coming before us this morning. Now, the record will reflect that no conflicts have been identified, so we will proceed with Public Staff Item 1.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Jeff Thomas. I'm an engineer with the Public Staff Division. Item number 1 is docket number SP 62437 sub 0, is a registration statement and a certificate of public convenience and necessity from Laurel Crest Solar LLC to construct an 80 megawatt solar photovoltaic electric generating facility in Scotland County. Public Staff has reviewed the application and recommends that the Commission issue the Public Staff's proposed order approving the application and accepting the registration statement.
Move approval of staff recommendation.
I have a question. Paperwork I have says Laurel Crest. Documentation I have here says Pitt County.
The agenda appears to be incorrect. It is in Scotland County, and the proposed order reflects the Scotland County.
Thank you.
All right, we've got a motion that's been seconded that the item be approved as recommended by the Public Staff. Are there any questions or discussion on that motion? Commissioner Tucker. Make sure you're on your microphone, sir.
Look at the order. The order says Pitt County too.
Ms. Thomas, who pays for the transmission line for this solar?
So if this facility plans to bid into the 2024 solar procurement, if it is selected as a PPA track bid, which it intends to bid in as, the facility would also bid in a bid that is based on the upgrade costs. And so the facility would pay for those upgrade costs, but its bid price would be increased to account for that payment.
So, forgive me, how does that accounting work its way back to the ratepayers, or does it not?
So ultimately, if this facility was selected in the 2024 solar procurement as a PPA, the ratepayers would pay for the upgrade through a higher PPA cost over the life of the PPA, but the developer would front the initial funds to pay for the upgrades required.
This is normal practice, right?
For these competitive solar procurements, typically, yes, that has been the normal practice because the competitive bid that is submitted in these procurements is there's a Part A and a Part B bid. The Part A covers only the cost of the facility, and then the Part B bid is based on dollars per megawatt per $1 million of upgrades. And based on the amount of upgrades assigned, that automatically scales and is added to their PPA to account for that cost of the bid or the upgrades. Because at the time that the project is bid in to the RFP and that Part A bid is submitted, they do not know their upgrade costs, so they can't include it in that basic bid.
Just one follow-up, Chair. So when you go through this process and the ratepayers pay for the transmission, you know, we hear oftentimes that solar's the least cost renewable of all of them, which I still think it is, but the calculation for the transmission upgrades oftentimes not included in the numbers for developing solar. So what's the cost on this to do the transmission line or upgrade rather, and the cost to the ratepayer? Did you run a number on that? If you're not, that's fine.
Yeah, so this facility doesn't have an upgrade cost yet assigned to it. It will in the 2024 resource solicitation cluster, and the cost of the bid as well as the cost of the upgrades is included in the holistic evaluation. And so these projects, when they're compared and the least cost, the most competitive bids are selected, it will include the cost of those transmission upgrades in that process.
Very well. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Thomas, it looks like the styling of the order, so it does say Scotland County in the actual certificate and in the body of the order, but in the matter of the styling, it says Pitt County. So I'm going to amend my motion to say we motion to approve staff recommendation with that clarification in the order.
Okay. Apologies for that oversight.
No problem.
All right, we've got a motion that's been seconded, that the item be approved as recommended by the public staff with with any reference to Pitt County corrected to read Scotland County. Any additional questions or discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate with an eye. Is there anyone opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Thomas.
Thank you.
All right, we will move to public staff item 2.
Good morning. I'm Jay Lucas with the Public Staff's Energy Division. Item 2 is an amended registration statement and request for cancellation of a CPCN for docket number SP-60808 sub 0. The public staff recommends that the commission accept the amended registration statement and cancel the CPCN for the facility.
Move approval of staff recommendation.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that the item be approved as recommended by the public staff. Are there questions or discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none, all in favor indicate with an eye. Is there anyone opposed? The motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Lucas. All right, next up, public staff item 3.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Patrick Fahey, an analyst with the Public Staff Economic Research Division. And item number 3 is docket number E7 sub 1100B, which is Duke Energy Corporation's revised financing plan for the year ending December 31st, 2024. The public staff has reviewed the confidential plan and finds it reasonable, and upon the advice of counsel, the public staff does not believe that the relevant statutes require commission approval and of any of the proposed financings. Accordingly, the public staff recommends that the commission issue an order accepting the plan.
Move approval of staff recommendation.
It's been moved and seconded that the item be approved as recommended by the public staff. Are there questions or discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none, all in favor indicate with an eye. Is there anyone opposed? All right, that motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Fahey. All right, we will move to public staff item 4.
Good morning. I'm Evan Hauser, an engineer with the Public Staff Water, Sewer, and Telephone Division. Item 4, filed by Aqua North Carolina, Inc. in docket number W218 sub 531, is a notification of intention to begin operations in an area contiguous to present service area to provide water utility service in the overlook at Mount Vernon in Wake County, North Carolina. The public staff has reviewed the notification and recommends that the commission issue the proposed order recognizing the contiguous extension.
Move approval of staff recommendation.
Been moved and seconded that the item be approved as recommended by the public staff. Are there questions or discussion on that motion? All right, hearing none, all in favor indicate with an eye. Is there anyone opposed? And the motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Hauser. All right, public staff item 5.
Item 5 regarding docket number W1300 sub 100 is the proposed order scheduling hearings, establishing discovery guidelines, and requiring customer notice for the general rate case application filed by Old North State Water Company, Inc. The public staff recommends that the commission issue the proposed order.
Move approval of the staff recommendation.
It's been moved and seconded that the item be approved as recommended by the public staff. Questions or discussion on that motion? All right, Commissioner Tucker.
When you have this large an increase, and I know the rates have been in place, I think in the notes from 2018, do they incrementally do that, or is it just everybody gets hit with it and thereafter? And does the public or the people they're serving here know it's coming and know it's coming at that higher rate?
So the public should be aware after they receive the customer notice, which is included as part of this proposed order. There are options to step in the rate and segue from their current rate to a middle rate between the rate that the commission determines is appropriate in the rate case proceeding. My understanding is the company is allowed to recover their costs, so there would be some amount of recovery of the lost costs during the interim rate. So that's an option. We would need to evaluate it to determine if it was beneficial to the public.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, Chair.
All right, any additional questions? All right, hearing none, all in favor indicate with an eye. Is there anyone opposed? All right, the motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Hauser. Next up, we've got Public Staff Item 6.
Good morning, Michelle Boswell, Public Staff Accounting. Item P6 is docket number W-1300 sub 95. It is a support services agreement between Old North State Water Company and Integra LLC. The public staff recommends approval subject to the conditions set forth herein.
Move approval of the public staff's recommendation.
It's been moved and seconded that the item be approved as recommended by the public staff. Are there questions or discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none, all in favor indicate with an eye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? All right, that motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Boswell. All right, Commission has before us for approval our minutes from the July 29th Staff Conference. I'll take a motion, please. It's been moved and seconded that those minutes be approved. Questions or discussion there? All right, all in favor indicate with an eye. Is there anyone opposed? All right, the minutes are approved. Before we adjourn, any additional business for the commission this morning? All right, hearing none, we'll be adjourned. Thank you very much. Let's go off the record, please.